This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Welcome back to the studio. If you're new, I'm Slew. So what do I mean by taking care of your paintings? I basically mean the aftercare, varnishing, oil painting specifically. It's actually the most frequently asked question, or top 5, like what do you do to varnish? And since I've switched to oil painting predominantly these days, the last few years, there's a whole other world of paint, drying, surface quality, pigment fading, finish, matte, satin. Anyways, there's a whole world. Oil paint's a little more tricky, but it's not that tricky. There's a bunch of free information online, actually. That's how I learned. And it's not that complicated, but I want to talk about it today. We're going to be varnishing a few of my oil paintings, large ones. I don't varnish every single painting though. Obviously all of these around me, more than half of them are not varnished. But we're gonna get into all of that. We're gonna talk about everything. Let me grab these paintings real quick. So here's one. And here's the second one. So if you're familiar with these paintings, they're pretty epic. Some of my favorite and larger scale, big deal projects I've done in the recent years, but they both have been dry for a very long time. Now, you've probably heard a lot in oil painting that you need to wait 6 to 12 months to varnish a painting. I'm not gonna stand here and pretend I know all of this chemical stuff about oil paint. And if you varnish too soon, it stops the oxidation, or when is the proper time to varnish using DAMVAR or just retouching varnish, or what we're gonna use, which is GAMVAR. So I don't know all that info, and I've had success varnishing in the past. It's really not that complicated. I varnish because I want the painting to have a homogeneous finish to it, right? So I'll show you real quick. This painting behind me, another one of my super large paintings that I finished. It's touch dry, right? But the oil paint, again, on this layer that we can't see, might still be drying. The colors will fade and the darks will fade a little. But also, if you could see, I'm gonna get a bunch of good shots for you guys. There are parts where the oil paint has dried differently in different finishes, matte, some more glossy. The whole finish of the painting is not unified, and it's a little weird. And so if you look at it from different angles in the light, you're gonna see these weird blemishes, and that's fine, right? And we kind of know that, and that's why we varnish. Let's look at these two. This one is like pretty beautiful. It has actually a great finish. Not as much, it's really beautiful actually, the finish of it, but still you want to have this layer to finish it nicely. It's gonna bring back so much of the darks and protect it moving forward. This one's heavy. I think this one specifically, the background, there's a lot of the finish that you could see that's different, some more glossy, and definitely some that's a lot more matte. And again, this has been drying for way longer than that one. This one's only, I think, four months. This has been, well over 6 months. Bone dry, ready to go. I'm really excited. So again, varnishing is important. We're gonna do all the steps right now. It's to make sure that you could showcase the paintings with a beautiful, homogeneous, unified finish. And if you want to showcase your artwork on a website, Squarespace has got your back. If you haven't heard of Squarespace before, which is shocking, it's an all-in-one website building platform. It's never been easier to build an engaging and beautiful website online for your audience. It's super, super easy. You can't lose. They've just laid it out all for you. Amazing award-winning templates, 24-hour customer service, which is like super clutch. Some noteworthy features I think my audience could specifically benefit from are their portfolio and galleries that are super amazing to showcase all of your work in an extremely professional way. They also have really cool extensions through Squarespace to have vetted, drop shipping companies and anything you want to add to your either website or portfolio to do e-commerce and everything in between. So you can go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch your awesome, amazing website, go to squarespace.com/slew for 10% off your first website or domain. So varnish. There's a whole bunch of different varnishes. Like I said before, DAMVAR, which is more traditional, I think. There's retouch varnish. There's liquid brands. This is gambling brands called GAMVAR. I mean, just do your research, check it out. Also, all these companies have great info. Also great videos from other amazing artists online doing varnishing. So if you want more information, it's out there. We got gloss, satin, and matte. I like the middle. I like satin. A little gloss, a little matte, little gloss. Because I've done both before a while ago, I used to just use gloss because I thought oil painting, varnishing, finished oil paintings, you needed to be mega glossy, but I really didn't like that. And then I tried matte before, and matte was way too matte. It's pretty easy here, just in between. So I also used to mix both of these to get that sort of matte and gloss in between satin look. And then I was like, wow, I could just buy the satin. We are gonna do it right now. Let me get this painting down from the wall. So for some reason, my mic just died here, and it happens later in the video, but I was basically just explaining how nice and homogeneous the background or this entire surface finish is for this painting. You know, all of the dried oil paint is the same finish, the same stain, and that's really it. And then right here also I'm explaining the different brushes. You want something generally soft. So I have two different examples here that I'm gonna use, a soft synthetic and then a really soft, bigger house painting. And the trick really is to just, you know, be gentle. A lot goes a long way. Usually varnishes, the little micro bubbles, they'll disappear on their own. There's nothing to worry. You just want to make sure there's not a bunch of streaks. Just take your time. Obviously make sure there's no dust on the canvas preceding you placing the varnish on, but it's really straightforward just to get a really unified layer. Yeah, and that's really it. It is looking very nice. You could see it's quite even. It looks glossy now, but it will dry way more matte. I think it's gonna dry really nice. I'm super happy with it. I actually haven't varnished a painting in a while, so I'm getting very excited. On to the next. This behemoth, and this has been dry for so long, it's desperate need of some varnish. The background isn't that dark, so you won't notice a whole lot. It's gonna be in the mask. It's just gonna pop out. Really, really excited to see how this turns out. So I think we're gonna pour this on and use this to start and then maybe finish up that if I see any riffles or streakiness. Oh. I am so hyped on this. It came out way better than I thought, actually. Like, the background was so faded. It's so rich now. I keep using that word. I think it's the perfect word. Bam! It's the next day. So happy. This was like a present, a gift to come in and see it fully dried. You know, the thing about these varnishes, you really can't see much of a difference only when you refer back to what it was before you did the varnish. But you know, the homogeneous background that I wanted and what the job of varnish does, this one looks really great. I'm just so pleased. Hopefully you learned something. And you could do this with acrylic. You know, I've done several acrylic paintings that are varnished. It just is not as important because of, you know, there's not that difference of drying, and some pigments are glossy, some are matte. You know, you really see that mostly in oil painting. People also, you know, they'll do the epoxy resin. That's like, I guess, a version of varnish. But yeah, oil painting, it's important, it's fun, it's cool. You know, there's a lot of, you can go deep into just like conservation and archivalness of what materials to use, what's more archival, what yellows over time. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Just a quick little interesting thing, varnishing two of my favorite paintings. Crazy awesome projects. Just finished that one. Again, if you haven't seen that video, check it out, but I'm doing a bunch more similar things like that, getting wild and crazy. Subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next video.